بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the month of Ramadan, and He talks about this bounty in His book in the second juz. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for the people before you, so that you may attain piety. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it's just a few days, أيام معدودات. And even in those few days, if someone is sick or traveling, then they can make up for those days in another part of the year after Ramadan is over. Now, the main thing is this quality of taqwa. And taqwa it's a sense of awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's presence and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ability and power to take us to account. So a person does things with a sense of accountability. And when they have this sense of accountability and this state of mindfulness, it enables them to avoid all of those things that cause the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is taqwa. This is the gist of taqwa. Like in the example that Ubay ibn Ka'ab radiallahu anhu gave to Umar radiallahu anhu, when Umar radiallahu anhu asked him that, explain this word to me, explain taqwa to me. So Ubay ibn Ka'ab radiallahu anhu simply asked him that, have you ever been on a very narrow path with thorns on both sides and tried to go down this path while avoiding the thorns? He said, yes, I have. So he said, then how did you manage to get down that path? He said, shamartu wajtahadtu. I pulled up my sleeves, I pulled in my clothes, and I was very diligent. So Ubay ibn Ka'ab said, this is the example of taqwa as well. It's a fine line. It's a narrow path that you have to tread, and there are thorns and spikes of acts that are from the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that are constantly trying to snag your clothes, and you are challenged with trying to keep your clothes away from those thorns. So similarly, we have this life to live, and on either side of us, whenever we walk down the path of this life, we have temptations, we have various types of acts that are very close to us. They are very near to pricking us, snagging us, tearing the fiber of our cloth. And in another place in the Quran, the quality of taqwa has also been called a libas. وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. So this taqwa is like a garment that covers us entirely. So taqwa is not a part-time thing. It's not something that affects just one part of our life. It's like our clothing that covers our entire body. And the best libas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is the libas of taqwa. So the thorns that are there to snag at our clothing are the sins, the temptations, all of those acts that are from the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's important for us to identify the various sources of these acts, and keeping in mind that it's not limited to one thing or the other. For example, some people may consider lying to be a very serious thing, but they might compromise on other things. They might compromise on another sin like backbiting. They might compromise on another sin like missing their salat, but they're upholding truthfulness, which is a wonderful thing. But taqwa is when we are doing whatever it takes to avoid the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all areas of our lives. So our earnings, our usage of our eyes, our ears, our tongues and mouths, the way we spend our money, the way we deal with relatives, the way we deal with distant people. How do we interact with the average person, with the stranger? What is our response when we see someone who is underprivileged? What is our response when we see someone who is equal? What is our response when we see someone who is superior to us? Taqwa governs all of these interactions, and it governs everything that we do in our lives. So لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, when the Quran says this fasting has been given to you for you to adopt taqwa, it means this is the biggest mandate out of Ramadan. It is the most important objective for us to become pious. Now, there are two simple elements to this, two basic components. The first component is to abstain from sin. Now, normally what happens is we, alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, we have this tendency to do good deeds in the month of Ramadan, or maybe do good deeds a little more frequently than we would in the rest of the year, and this is excellent. However, letting go of sins is, in fact, the first component to obtaining piety. A person cannot obtain piety while they are actively disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if they start doing good deeds, if they do not abstain from misdeeds, then taqwa will not be attained. So the first component is to address what it is in our lives that may be missing, or what is there in our lives that is there but should not be there, and let us address that first. And then we supplement this and strengthen and purify ourselves by making lots of tawbah and istighfar, and enriching ourselves, beautifying and adorning ourselves with an increase in good deeds. So increasing our salat, increasing our tilawat of Quran, increasing our dhikr of Allah, creating a routine for ourselves which is slightly challenging, so that it's not completely in our comfort zone, but it's also not so advanced that we cannot keep up with it and we give up in a couple of days. But we need to be pushing ourselves to cleanse ourselves and to reform ourselves and to become improved individuals. We need to push ourselves. This is a rule that applies to every area of life. It applies to every skill. It applies to every subject that is learned or taught. It applies to all of those things. We have to push ourselves, and only then are we able to achieve something worthwhile. So that's one thing. The other thing is that this month has a very special connection with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the best things we can do is increase our occupation with the Quran in this blessed month. So reading it, correcting our recitation, trying to understand it, standing up at night and reciting it, these are, you can say, these are necessary components of this blessed month of Ramadan. If we are not increasing our ta'alluq, our connection with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there is a fear that we may miss out on the whole essence of Ramadan. A lot of people ask, where should they start? Ramadan has come, they're ready to make some changes. Where should they start? The best place to start is to make a lot of tawbah and istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, one of the effects of our sins is that the sin gets us deprived, or it gets in the way of us and other good deeds. These are sins that are lingering in our account. We haven't cleansed them through tawbah and istighfar. There is a high possibility that that same sin will become an obstacle for us in committing other good deeds that we would like to. We might be ready to do the deeds. We might have the intention to do them. We have planned, but we're not able to get around doing it. Sometimes it's because there is a sin lingering in our account that we haven't cleansed, we haven't washed it away, and it's the effect of that sin that it doesn't allow us to move forward with good things. So every step that leads to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins with tawbah and istighfar. And some people ask, are there any particular du'as to be read in the first 10 days, in the second 10 days, in the third set of 10 days in this month? There is no fixed du'a for every ashara, but rather the idea is to run towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to rush towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with whatever we have in terms of zeal, in terms of desire, in terms of love and passion for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The idea is to rush forward to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without holding back, with no holds barred. And if we can do that for 1 month, then inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be happy to open up the doors uh, of continuing these good deeds throughout the rest of the year. Look, one of the reasons why I'm emphasizing on this the theme of taqwa so much is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declared right in the beginning of his book that it is hudal lil muttaqeen. This book is a guidance for the people that have taqwa. And this month is the month of taqwa. And this month is the month of the Quran. So you can see the connection. It's a very strong connection between Ramadan, Quran, and taqwa. In order to benefit from Ramadan, we need taqwa. In order to benefit from the Quran, we need taqwa. If we adopt taqwa, it will open up the gates for both, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to use our time and our energies wisely. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from not using our time wisely. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from engaging in frivolous and um, non-beneficial activities during this month. We'll make a quick dua. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. جزا الله عنا نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ما هو أهله. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين صاموا رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا، واجعلنا من الذين قاموا رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا، واجعلنا من الذين قاموا ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية في ديننا ودنيانا وأهلنا ومالنا. اللهم استر عوراتنا وآمن روعاتنا. اللهم احفظنا من بين أيدينا ومن خلفنا وعن أيماننا وعن شمائلنا، ونعوذ بعظمتك أن نغتال من تحتنا. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك الصحة والعفة والعافية. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا وعاف مبتلانا. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا وعاف مبتلانا. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا وعاف مبتلانا. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من البرص والجنون والجذام ومن سيء الأسقام. اللهم إنا نسألك صحة في إيمان. اللهم إنا نسألك صحة في إيمان. اللهم إنا نسألك صحة في إيمان. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لنا إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وآناء النهار واجعله لنا حجة يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.